business, it's no joke. Marion and Mary explore the mind, being hope and healing for these changing times. Be the change you want to see, multidimensionality. Stillness, joy, shadow work, shamanic change back to the earth. New earth now. New earth now. New earth now.
Hello and welcome to New Earth Now. I'm your host, Marion Porter.
And I'm her psychic sidekick, Mary Back.
Show 4, baby, show 4.
Show 4, here we are.
Yeah.
So a lot's happened since our last show, and there are a lot of things we have to discuss this show. But before it even starts, I need to make one little correction, because way back on show 2, I misinformed our audience. I attributed Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs to Jean Piaget, and I apologize both to those two deceased gentlemen. But that's important, though, because if anyone was looking into developmental needs meeting strategies as a therapeutic tool, they would need to know that Abraham Maslow was behind all that. So I wanted to make that clear. All right, I feel better now.
Yay.
All right.
I'm glad you did that.
Well, you know, took me a while. But also, in keeping with my little obsession with going through the lyrics of our fantastic theme song, you know, what are we talking about this week, Marion? What are we addressing?
Oh, well, multidimensionality.
and healing.
Yes.
And healing. And the part we talk about be the change you want to be, I'm really enthusiastic and very excited because, Marion, you have taken some basic things you're performing in your life, some exercises, some experiences, and they have become a major source of change for you. And I think that's important to share that because sometimes all it takes is that one little pebble to cause ripples. And so, yeah.
So one of the aspects of, basically, it's kind of a New Earth concept, you know. And again, when I say New Earth, I'm not trying to be exclusionary. I know it's kind of an abstract concept for some people. Really, it's as within, so without. So how you see the world is basically, you know, a function of how you see yourself, if you will. Remember the shadow work and all of that. So when you do enough of that work, it raises your frequency, it raises your vibrations, you know. And when that happens, different possibilities become available to you. New thoughts show up into your head, new ways of experiencing and being and doing life show up for you. And well,
I could just ask you about what Jingdao is our concept today, is what we're talking about today.
Yes, Jingdao.
What would you like to say about that, Marion?
Well, this is the thing. I was going to tell the story. I was coming home. It was a Friday night, and I couldn't help myself. I was coming home late. Wonderful dinner out with some friends, and I came in and I needed to exercise. And I said to the universe, if you will, give me an exercise. I don't want to move my exercise bike. You know, I got the little home gym.
I know, trampoline.
I got a trampoline. I would have to move my trampoline to use my exercise bike. So neither one of those was happening because
Friday night, and you already had supper.
I didn't even want to take my shoes off. Do you understand?
I completely understand.
Couldn't walk too far.
But in many times when you ask for assistance arrives.
Assistance arrives. Don't you love that?
Every time.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, universe, I would like some kind of exercise to do. And I started doing my little kitchen dance. 1, 2, 3, clap. 1, 2, 3. You know, we all do it.
We all got a kitchen dance.
We all do it. And all of a sudden, I started doing these moves. I was like a very slow motion run I was doing. And I'm like, well, this is fun. And then all of a sudden, I kind of became aware that, almost telepathically, like new thoughts, like it was like I was listening to like a telepathic podcast, if you will. And I was all of a sudden being directed to do these moves.
Safe moves.
Safe moves.
Nothing
very safe
illegal.
moves. No, yeah, absolutely. I'm in my kitchen. It's a Friday night. Nothing was very challenging.
But somewhere within you felt the necessity to perform a particular sequence of moves.
Yeah, so I started with that one, and I started like, what is this?
How did it feel?
Well, it felt really good. It was like kind of this left and right motion. And I was like, this is calming, this is nice. And I'm like, what is this? What actually is happening here? And one of the things you want to do, if you're, when I'm getting information, I need to know who's doing it,
Right.
who's saying this. I said, well, what is this? Now, I hear, not hear, but
Got the impression of.
yeah, it's like a new thought that kind of sounds, it has a vibration, but it's not like I'm hearing a voice.
It's almost like a memory of a voice you've heard. So the
Yes.
information is there without actually physically after hearing something.
Yeah, so I hear Jing Dao, and I'm like, spell it. Because, if you
Taking
can
notes.
tell it to me, I want to know, because if you can spell it to me, if I can see it, then I'm going to trust it.
I'm not going to move the exercise equipment, but I'm taking notes. So, Jing Dao.
Yep, absolutely. So I see it, Jing, and then DAU. And to this day, I don't know if it's DAU, but DAU works, and I can't ever write it differently, spell it differently. It's Jing Dao. And I thought it was some guy talking to me. I thought I had a Zen master teaching me, and I probably did. The multidimensionality concept for a later time is it could be me in another dimension.
Another aspect of you.
teaching me. I could very well be this Zen master guy from way back saying,
Or way in the future.
yeah, because who knows?
'Cause
Who
linear
knows?
time.
It's all the same. It's all the same, really. And well, anyways, I don't want to get in the weeds with that because I do
We'll get
love
there.
that topic. So there we are. So I'm doing this slow motion run, and I'm like, well, what is this? And I'm hearing that it's like all this stuff that it's doing, and it took a couple of days. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Boy,
Okay.
my head is just going fast. The brain goes faster than the mind can get it out my mouth. So I do this slow motion run, and then I do this odd little back to the side. So you kind of get on one side, and I'm doing this little step move, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Then all of a sudden, it's like this other thing, and I'm like, oh, well, this has got to be Qigong, because that made me think Qigong. Well, you'll see it later. And I go through these 5 moves, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And, that's it. Then the next day, I wake up, and I want to learn about this. Remember, it was a Friday night. I did my exercises. I'm going to bed. Thank you very much. The next day, I started getting information for what it does. Now, listen, you know me. I've gotten recipes. How do I cook my eggs? Here's a way to do it. What do I do with this? I've gotten all
So you're
kinds of cooking
comfortable
tips.
asking the cosmos.
For a long time.
I just want to be clear.
Yes,
that's
yes,
something that is
I've
not,
been doing this my entire life.
This is you connecting
Listen,
to
honey,
some greater
some
part.
of my greatest conversations have been with rocks. I got a whole entire healing from a stone wall. From another time, I'll tell you.
We'll get back to
yeah,
that.
look,
Come-
the clock is ticking down.
You like
so,
you look at you're just giddy. All right. So
Well-
when I'm the voice of reason, I
Yes,
worry. So
yes.
Marion,
yes,
I want to come to the conversation you and I had at my house.
yes, I come to you with this information. I'm like, listen, this is this whole thing. The body's a battery. This is this, all of that. Remember going in all of that? And my head was still new with learning something that I was unfamiliar with.
And you specifically wanted to ask me how it aligned with Qigong, because you know
Yes.
I practice Tai Chi.
Yeah, I
and
came
you
to
thought-
your yard.
And we had a lovely time.
really
And you
was a great
showed us
day.
the moves, and I
Yeah.
was looking at him going, I was like, Marion, I appreciate the fact you think I would know enough about Qigong and Tai Chi to know how this aligns, but I'm not your gal. I said, we'll call George. George Hoffman is my Tai Chi instructor and has been for a dozen years or longer. So I fed him to you. I gave
Yes.
you his contact
Yeah.
information with his permission, and said, you know, Marion has some moves and she wants to know how they align with Chinese medicine or Qigong or Tai Chi. And I certainly don't have that information, but he might, and he did. And so you connected.
Yeah, and that was fun. And you know what? We have George here.
Of course we do.
So yeah, hang on. We're gonna bring George on. And we're back, and here's George.
Hi, Marion. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
All right, you want to say a little bit about yourself?
I'm a Tai Chi instructor. I've run a Tai Chi business since 2001. I've been studying and practicing Tai Chi and Qigong for 32 years, teaching for 26 or so. So it's part of who I am, and I continue to study to this day. I think it's important that we keep going, keep learning.
So when Marion asked me about the Jingdao moves, which we're going to show you before we continue so much, and I referred her to you because I believe that you have such an understanding of the nuances of Tai Chi and Qigong and Chinese medicine that you could let her know how those things might align with what she was experiencing, because that's what she asked me about, and I simply didn't know. You know?
And we did have a good conversation.
That was
Yeah.
such a fun time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. A strange lady calling. Hi, how are you? I think I learned something.
Did she learn something, George? What was
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Mary had brought these exercises over, and we did them in the kitchen. She taught them, the first few of them, to me in the kitchen, and it was obvious that these are very Qigong-like. Qigong, Qi-G-O-N-G. Qi is Qi, life force energy. Gong means work or proficiency. So it's a form of traditional Chinese medicine. It's been around 5,000 or 6,000 years. So these did line right up into that, which breathing, focused intention, movements and postures, and all of those things were embedded in this. And these are very similar to some of the other things I've seen over the years. And there's 7,000 or 8,000 styles of Qigong. So you've gotten a download of your very own style. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So should we look at those moves now?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, why don't we, before we even go in any more about it, let's take a look at those moves. Okay, so here are the Jingdao moves. The first one is sort of like a slow run, so you're kind of going back and forth, just like this. And you want to get this gentle going back and forth thing. When I first started doing this, I had a metronome. If you want to use a metronome to get familiar with the speed, you want to get one and put it on the slowest setting. So you're just kind of going back and forth, trying to get your feet nice and spongy and getting that nice cushiony feeling. And I generally do this until I exhale. And now there it is. So I do this till I exhale, and then I move on to the next one. So the next one, I'm going to shift over here and slowly move my left foot so it's shift, 1, 2, 3, and I shift, 1, 2, 3, and I shift. And I just do this. And it's that kind of going back and forth thing. And you're just 1, 2, 3, shift, 1, 2, 3, shift, 1, 2, 3. And you're just going back and forth. And you can feel it. And it's just such a nice feeling to get that release. So the next one, you're going to take your hands, one hand's going to go here, and the other hand's going to go here on your back. So you're basically getting the top of your shoulder and the top of your legs, basically. So you're going to do back and forth, and you're just going to kind of actually feel a tap. You recall a lot of this has to do with lymph drainage, and I think this is sort of waking up an awful lot of lymph nodes that are around here. And you just kind of do this back and forth, and I'll show you how it looks from behind. I just love that release that happens. So you just kind of do that a little bit, and once you've done that, you bend over a little bit, and you want to make like an X from the top of one foot to the top of the next. With this, you're going back and forth, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like this, and you're leading with your wrists, so you're trying not to bend at all. And there you go. Oh. You really, honest to God, you feel this exhale come over you. So after you do that one, then you're going to come up again. Again, it's the left-right thing. So you've got one hand, like I've got my right hand on my left shoulder, and it's the one that's on top. So you bring them up and you sweep down. Then you reverse hands, bring them up, and sweep down. So I'm trying, I'll do it really slow, I'm trying to get really just, like there's lint on me saying I want to brush it off. It's just, see, even there, it's a wonderful release. So after that, then there's 2 more, and these are the ones that are called wringing out the rag, like your spine. You're literally going to twist your spine. So I'm going to stand and look straight ahead, and I'm just going to move my waist. So it's just 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm literally at a right angle here. 1, 2. Oh, I just love doing this one. So there's that one. And the next one is very similar, but it's done with your hands going up. So I'm going to take one hand, and I'm going to bring my hands up like this, and I'm turning not perpendicular, I'm turning just a little bit, where the other one was like this one's like this, all right? So it's like a little turn. So, and I'm reaching up and reaching down. Not touching, but coming close. Reaching up and reaching down. I love this one the best. This one I can really feel. It's my favorite of all. And you're really getting, I feel like I am being wrung out, like my spine is a dirty rag being wrung out. One more. I love this one. And so that is the Jing Dao moves. All right. Well, now that we've all had a look at them, I think I might go into a little bit about what I was told they do.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, you got to understand, this was crazy for me to get this information. Like I said, I've gotten cooking tips, I've gotten practical on-the-go stuff, but this was
Details.
not only a series of 7 movements, but information that I knew nothing about.
About what they do for you.
Yeah. So it turns out that it's basically a hygiene system. Remember, I was like
Yeah.
the first thing I said. This isn't anything more than like a hygiene system, and whoever it was that gave me this information, whatever time period it's from, it was very common knowledge. Everybody knew about this. It was like you did this as part of your morning hygiene. Part of your hygiene before you go to bed.
Your
you know?
routine, your daily
yeah,
routine.
Yeah, it's right up there with, combing your hair, brushing your
I love it.
teeth.
That's
Yeah,
great,
yeah. But the first thing, I'm like, well, I don't know much about science. I don't know much about geography. I don't know much
History.
about
It's like a song here. Okay.
No, it had to be done. It had to be said. I couldn't help it.
Anyway.
Anyways, so there I am, and I'm hearing that it's a hygiene system. Okay, well, what kind of hygiene? For the lymph
For
system.
the whole lymph system.
Yeah.
Which flushes throughout the entire body.
Yeah.
And moves debris out of the systems. Yeah.
That's
There
what.
you go.
That's whoever this is.
Yeah.
What said to me was that, basically the body is a battery.
Okay.
And that I found like nutty because I always thought the heart was. The body makes its own energy. And basically it's a battery, it's the central nervous system plugged into lymph fluid. I guess that's happening in there.
Every move we make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're basically electric. I
Yeah,
didn't
sure.
know any of this. I might have gone to school. I'm sorry. I just, I didn't know. So apparently what happens is these moves, they're slow, they're back and forth kind of motion. It's supporting all of this lymph
Yeah.
stuff. So what happens is apparently there's a part in the cell called the mitochondria.
Powerhouse of the cell.
I never knew. And everybody I say that to, they say powerhouse of the cell.
Because the only thing any of us remember from biology. It's true.
Listen, I don't know. But so this is what I love about how spirit tries to get concepts that I cannot possibly understand to me.
Yeah.
And they always use sports. So apparently, the mitochondria is like a catcher's mitt. And honest to God, I looked one up, and it looks like a catcher's mitt. So the mitochondria is a catcher's mitt. The nerve ending is a bat. And what is it batting? What is the ball? A nerve impulse.
Okay.
So it's going into the mitochondria. And I never knew what the mitochondria did. When I looked it up, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I was told. It did. Look at
Nice,
me.
nice.
Where was this when I was in school? Where was this when I was in school? So apparently what this does, these moves are supposed to be done kind of slow.
Yeah.
It turns out that the body has its own kind of rate of when the cells replicate.
Right. Right.
All right? And the lymph fluid gets rid of cellular debris. And if, time speeds up, everything speeds up, we're moving faster.
Yeah.
It's very different now. We're not living like in stillness and what have
Right.
you. The cells are replicating too fast. And apparently, the nerve impulse is cooled by the lymph fluid.
Okay.
I didn't know this. I don't know if it's true. If you're out there and you know it's true, leave a comment. But anyways, I don't know this. It's coming through. It's hitting here. The mitochondria is in charge of creating energy, and it's in charge of cellular replication. Each cell has a mitochondria. So it's coming through, And if it's coming through too fast, the nerve impulse, and the cells are being made too fast, they're backing up. And so you've got so much cellular debris in there. When the nerve impulse is coming across, it could be too hot. So not only are you making cells too fast, and this is why I love spirit again, because I'm not going to get these concepts. They reminded me of when I was in school and I would get to work in the office. Remember the copies? You'd run them off. Look how old I am. Running off copies. Look how old I am. All right.
They smelled wonderful.
But yes,
and
oh
they were
my God,
warm.
that smell,
The
that purple
ones,
ink.
Yes. Ditto machines.
But if you did that too fast or too long, it would
But
make
look
a
what
poor
these,
copy.
Look what these exercises have done for you already.
Yes.
Slowed down.
Yes.
Slowed things
Yes,
down.
that's what they say, to calm the inner
Yeah,
seas. But so what it's done is it's doing all of that stuff. I don't know if it's slowing down the replication of my cells.
But all of this functions as we function. You think of how fast the society moves, how fast we move in our culture. It's crazy fast. It's just out of control fast. So the thing I always loved about Tai Chi and Qigong was it lets you slow down. It gives you tools to slow down. And as I slow down, my body slows down. All of this nerve endings slow down. Everything communicates more effectively than,
So this is doing that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's why when you showed me these, they were to me they were a perfect fit. Not just
And that
a little
was
fit,
just
a
the
perfect
5
fit.
of them,
Yeah.
not the last 2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have all of that stuff. You have cross body stuff, right? You have right side, left side, all of that stuff. You have front, back. You have everything going on to help you slow down. And the idea of the metronome, I think, is a really important
Yeah.
thing to allow that.
Yeah.
Allow that to slow.
Yeah, I kind of have gotten that rocking back and forth, but the metronome, even just listening to it, remember years ago, Spirit had me get a metronome and that slow speed and just set it and forget it. You wind it up, what are you going to get?
So it's a piece of your background.
Yeah, and you just tick, tock, tick, and I could feel that. But then it was many years, and then this comes up. The last 2 movements were crazy the way they came. It was one morning, and I was doing my 5 moves, and then I started doing that one, and then this one. And that, wringing out a dirty
fine,
rag,
yeah.
wringing out a dirty rag. It's brilliant.
Getting rid of all that debris.
Yeah, and I love it. And sometime later, I decided to look up Jing. Apparently, it's a thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what it actually is?
Understand, I have to look up the Tao as you got it. I look at that as saying the way. Like the Taoism, right? The way. And the Jing is a couple of translations. One is associated with kidney energy, the energy we got from our parents, the kidney Jing. And the other one is Jing as projected energy. Energy with motion, right? So like your healing energy, those kinds of things. So we look at that as, I'll say, expressed energy, for a better term on that. So you're talking about the way of expressed energy is really what you're talking about, right?
I love that. So Jing Dao.
Yeah.
Now, why is it D-A-U? Why can I not spell it differently, even though I've tried to correct the spelling?
I don't
is
know.
that a translation thing, or is it from
there's
this
a system
time?
of romanization that has been around for a very long time. Wade Giles was the first one. The current one is called lost to me, I'm sorry. But there's a romanization is taking the beautiful Chinese characters and making them pronounceable by the West, right? Pinyin, I'm sorry, is the current romanization system. So it depends on which romanization system might have been referenced in this. And it's only been in the last 40, 50 years that they've really flipped around, for romanization. So it might very well be that, But the idea of Jing, energy, expressed energy, Dao is the way, and whether you spell it D-A-O, Tao, D-A-U, whatever, however you spell it. It's, it came to me as the way.
I love how at first I thought it was the guy's name that was teaching it to me.
I want to know, Marion, I want to know what's changed in your life. We've talked about being the change you want, and this.
Listen,
more about
let me
that.
tell you, these 7 moves, I've always mostly been like a mouth breather. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really, it's how I breathed. This, in slowing me down, I'm still obviously breathing through my mouth, but I can breathe through my nose without having to think about it, if that makes sense,
It does.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to consciously choose it.
It's calming my inner seas, and that's fascinating to me.
And letting you breathe more fully.
Yeah.
Instead of way up here in the rib cage.
Yeah.
Breathing way down.
Yeah.
Slows down your breath, slows down, relaxes your mind as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, I'm sleeping better. I really, this has changed my life.
Good.
And the fact that it just was given to me. I mean, it took me a series of days to get what it's actually doing, because it involved me having conversations, thinking about what's coming down. I think when I spoke to you that night, I barely had language to speak about it.
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew what a mitochondria was then. But this is the kind of thing that, can be available to anyone
Who asks.
I didn't judge it. It came through. I started doing it. I can't believe that it's real, actually.
But it is.
So it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I that night when you said, I think you called it an orphaned piece of Tai Chi.
Qigong, yeah.
Yeah, Qigong that
Yeah.
gets passed down.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe it was an ancestor of mine coming through and giving me
It
this.
sounds like it's certainly something that was meant for you, because it
Yeah.
certainly helped you.
Yeah, and I find that it helps me. I want to share it with the world.
And you just did.
Yeah.
And you've also, since this has happened, you've begun taking classes with George.
Yes. Well, I figured if I was gonna, if Tai Chi Qigong was gonna come to me, the least I could do
Go to it.
was yeah. So I'm in your beginner class, and that I gotta tell you. What really impresses me about that is the warm-up exercises. I mean, I love doing the Tai Chi, but let me tell you, my body is in pain. I've got some spinal things going on, the thinning of the spinal column, all of that spinal column stuff is happening. I can't do yoga. My God, getting down on a mat, getting up on a mat.
Getting up from the mat.
No, I'm standing. I get to stay standing. Yes, I'm good. I'm good with Tai Chi, and I figured this is perfect. But those warm-up exercises changed my life.
What warm-up exercises, Marion? These warm-up exercises,
Yes,
Marion?
the warm-up exercises. We're gonna see right now.
This is a series of exercises that we do on a regular basis before Tai Chi classes to open up the hips and open up the shoulders, two of the areas that we here in the States carry a lot of stress. So we're going to open those things up. So we'll start with rolling the hips. We're going to roll the hips in vertical circles. So everybody's done hula hoop circles, the horizontal circles. We're going to do vertical circles. So as we do this, it's coming up one side, down the other, up one side, down the other. We want to look at this in the vertical plane as opposed to the horizontal plane. So we're working up, loosening up these muscles. The hip joints are a major pathway for energy from the legs up through the body. And we have a lot of tension, culturally we have a lot of tension And we want to keep them nice and open. So what we've done is reverse the direction. So we're coming up the front, down the back, up the front, down the back. Feel your feet as you do this. Let your feet relax and spread out. Feel them contact the earth. This is our connection. Then we're going to stand on one leg. We'll put the other leg out empty, and we're just going to take this empty hip, and we're going to lift this empty hip. This is a good preventive exercise for sciatica. It's flexing the joint where the sciatic nerve runs from the lower back down through the hip joint, down into the leg on both sides. So we want to flex this. It's a very, very effective exercise for prevention of sciatica. And it's good just all around. And then we'll switch sides. We'll shift to one side, empty the other foot, and we'll lift the empty hip. So nice and easy, feel that foot you're sitting on, sit down into the hip a little bit. Want to keep the hips nice and open to allow energy to easily flow all the way up through the body. And then we'll go to those horizontal circles that everybody loves so much, hula hoop circles, right? When you were a kid out in the playground, here you are, hula hoop circles. So find those circles in the horizontal plane. Nice and easy, feel your feet, pay attention to your feet. They're the connection we have with the earth. And then we're going to reverse the direction. So you can do as many of these for as long as you like. Just trying to open up these joints. Good, then shake the legs out a little bit and sit down. I say sit down into the hips a little bit. And we're going to do horizontal circles with the pelvis level. So trying to keep the pelvis level, we're going to do horizontal circles. Now this loosens up the muscles at the very base of the spine. Different effect than what we had with the hula hoop circles. So we're just keeping it nice and easy, nice and level. And again, pay attention to your feet. Feel your feet. And then we're going to reverse the direction. Still keeping the pelvis level. Pay attention to your feet. Then let's do vertical circles. We did nice horizontal level circles. We're going to go vertical. So shift to one side, straighten the legs, come up over the top, down the other side. Nice and easy, still paying attention to the feet. Sit down into the hips. Don't pay any attention to your knees. Sit into the hips. Nice and easy, take your time. Keep the end of the spine reaching down. And then let's reverse the direction. Over to one side, up over the top and down. So you notice as you do these, the changes in the musculature in the hip joints. We really want to keep them nice and open. And then we're going to do the rib cage. I say rib cage. We're going to lean a little bit forward, a little bit to the side, a little bit behind us, not too far in any one direction. We're opening up the hip joints again. So don't let the spine do this, let the hips do this for you. So as you sit down a little bit, the hips will open up nice and easy, and the body can just rotate around at the hips. Nice and easy. Again, pay attention to your feet. I'll say listen to the quality of the connection you have with your feet. And then let's reverse the direction. Nice and easy, feel your feet. So in this one, we don't want to go too far in any one direction. So just make it nice and easy. Then let's do the hips. We're going to isolate the hip joint, shoulders. Let's isolate the shoulder joint. So we're going to lift the shoulders, nice big circles. Doesn't matter what direction you start in. We'll start with one at a time. Nice and easy. And again, pay attention to your feet. Feel your feet. And then we're going to do both at the same time. You don't have to worry about this. You're the only one that hears the cracking. Okay? Nobody else will hear it. And then let's go in the other direction. We'll start with one at a time again. Nice and easy. Feel your feet. Don't forget to breathe. And then let's do both at the same time again. shake them out, shake them out. So then we're going to do what's called a bow stance. We're going to have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. I'll do a start from the side here. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. We're going to start with the weight back. As we shift forward, we're going to roll the hands so the thumbs come up behind us. As we shift back, we'll roll the hands, pinkies go over the top and point back. Nice and easy. Sit down a little bit. That'll help keep you stable. So let the waist move the weight forward. Let the waist move the weight back. You notice as you come forward, the knee bends a little bit. Now, if this is painful for you, drop your hands down around your hips, and it'll take a lot of the pressure off the shoulder, okay? We're going to change feet. Same thing, shifting forward, shifting back, nice and easy, opening up the shoulder joints. This is the other location we keep a lot of tension. We want to keep those things open. And then let go. Next one, we're going to just stand with a nice, easy stance and have the head up nice and straight. We're going to exhale and we're going to look over our shoulder and look behind us. We're going to inhale to the center and then we'll do the other side. We'll exhale to the other side and look over the shoulder. This is meant to keep the neck nice and relaxed, allowing energy to flow freely from the head down through the torso. Nice and easy. Only go as far as you comfortably can. Again, feel your feet. Notice what they contribute to this movement at the head. And just do one more to each side. And then we're going to relax the arms and we're going to turn the waist. You did this as a kid on the playground. You see kids today doing this on the playground. Just relax, feel the feet, let the body turn, let the arms go. We loosened up the shoulders really nicely. They'll move very easily. So just let them relax. Don't struggle with it, just let them go. And then gradually let that wind down, let it get softer, smaller, slower. And there you are.
Don't you just love those warm-up exercises? I really hope that everybody practices these, because I know when I do them, oh my God, it like I joined the whole entire Tai Chi sessions just for the exercises.
Just for the exercises.
Come for the exercises, stay for the Tai Chi.
This set started from, I'll say, I distilled it from a number of, literally, probably hundreds of warm-up exercises, all kinds of things, swinging the legs up and doing all kinds of things. But the thing that impressed me the most was, what do we need to work on? We need to work on the hips, because our hips are terrible, especially men. Hips are terrible. Some men don't even remember they have hips. And the other thing is shoulders and necks. So people keep a lot of stress and a lot of tension there. So the biggest thing was get the hips open. So all of those things, the vertical circles, the horizontal circles, the level circles, which exercise the musculature completely different than the little hula hoop circles, right? The rib cage, leaning the whole body based on the hips, leaning the whole body forward, the whole body back, feeling your feet, feeling that connection, reinforcing your awareness with the quality of the connection you have with the earth. All of those things, and then the shoulders. People keep a ton of tension in the shoulders. Watch people when they're stressed out. First thing that happens is the shoulders begin to rise. They begin to rise, and if we can just take a few breaths and just do a little bit and let the shoulders settle back down, because it blocks all of the energy coming in and out of the head, in and out of the brain to the rest of the body. So all of those tension points, hips, shoulders, all of those things get in the way of effective energy. Like the Qigong that you're doing, right? It's about keeping the whole body moving, keeping the whole body moving. It's just another kind of, I don't want to say just, because it's very personal to you, but it's another kind of way to keep the body quiet and functioning, because energetically we want the body to open up and let it move energy wherever it needs to go. You know, let the body's wisdom drive, instead of this piece. This piece doesn't always help us, right?
Yeah. I tell you, those, I didn't even know my body could do all of those things.
Yeah,
I've never moved in those ways.
But if you watch in classes, especially the vertical The vertical circles of the hips, I think, are the one that people have the most difficult time with, because we don't do that. We do hula hoop stuff. We do horizontal circles. But the minute we go into another plane of motion, that's challenging. But it really, really is effective in opening up those joints. So we've gone hula hoop circles, vertical circles, horizontal circles, all of this kind of stuff, you know. So I think that's important to get that energy to flow from the legs up through the body, up into the head. Right? Keep
It's
things moving.
amazing. Yeah. So Qigong and Jingdao, one is with the Qi, one is with the Jing. So they're cultivating
Qi is
two
Jing.
different things?
Qi is Jing.
Qi is Jing.
Yeah, yeah. So Jing is, if we say Jing is expressed energy, energy is Qi, life force energy, bioelectric energy, right?
Bioelectric, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Mitochondria
That's
again.
what it is.
Yeah.
Bioelectric.
You can look at it from an Eastern perspective with the traditional Chinese medicine energy system. You can look at it from the Western perspective with all of the connective tissue, the fascia layers, and all of these kinds of things. It's just energy. We're moving energy. So whether you look at it from with your Eastern hat on or your Western hat on, we're moving energy. We want to keep energy moving so the body stays healthy.
And so Tai Chi isn't Qigong. Tai Chi is...
In the 60s, the People's Republic put an umbrella term called Qigong over top of, they called it martial Qigong was Tai Chi, healing Qigong was meant to be like health and healing kind of things, a spiritual Qigong, and a fourth kind I can't remember at the moment, but they put this umbrella term over that. So now in traditional Chinese, in the People's Republic's view is Tai Chi is a form of Qigong. I like to teach Tai Chi as a moving meditation, as you know. So I like that idea of doing my 60 movement form or 108 movement form as a piece of Qigong, just a continuous, slow flow of movement and energy. So I want to go with that. So Tai Chi and Qigong have the movements, they have the focused intention, they have the breathing techniques, all of those are the same. And so you could look at one as effective as the other. Tai Chi is based on a Chinese martial art. It still can be used as a martial art. In my 32 years, I met one teacher that taught it as solely as a martial art, as a defense system.
How?
One out of 32
You're
years.
so slow?
There was a joke about people, Tai Chi people beating
Yeah.
somebody up in the park. They said it took them 4 hours. But that idea of getting the body to move slowly and getting things opened up, because consider that if your shoulders are up like this, what happens? Suddenly you can't feel your hands anymore, but if you get the body to relax, energy flows out into the fingertips, out into the toes. Everything begins to move.
And it's not just confined to Tai Chi in the class. It becomes a way of being in the world, a way of weeding your garden and removing snow and of putting away the dishes and taking out the peanut butter. When you feel yourself with a good solid connection to the earth, and when you're anchored and mindful about your movements and your breathing is involved, everything is Qigong.
So keeping with the as within, so without.
Absolutely. Ripples in a pond, right? You drop a pebble in
That's
the pond.
the song, baby.
Once you
and,
drop
and
a
you
pebble,
get those, and you get those little
in for good.
ripples. And the slower ripples, when they impact a faster moving ripple, right? They begin to slow the faster moving ripple down, right? So we have the effect on everybody around us based on how we move and how we do this.
And then, if everybody did Tai Chi, the world would instantly know peace. Because as within, so without, all that relaxation, you see a different world.
A new earth
You
now.
could say this, a new earth now. You could say this about Tai Chi. You could say this about yoga. You could say it about Qigong. You could say it about meditation. You could say it about all kinds of things that help the body slow down, and the breath slows, the mind begins to slow, and the noise begins to quiet. There's the key to me. The noise begins to quiet.
And I think we have to leave it there.
Okay?
As much
'Cause
as
this
has
noise
been
needs
fun-
to quiet.
Well, this noise needs to quiet because we're George, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
This has been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot
Oh,
of
thank
fun.
you
Yeah,
so
thank you.
much. And thank you for watching New Earth Now. And if you're streaming this and you like what you see, hit like, hit share, and I'll tell you what, also, there's a QR code here for CVC. Look for ways maybe you could help. Maybe you'd like to have a show. Maybe you'd like to work on a crew. Maybe you'd like to help out financially. Thank you so much for watching.
Let's dance to our theme song.
New Earth Now is on TV. New Earth Now on CVC.
The best theme song ever.
I love that theme song. I hope it's still running. Keep it. Yeah.
Oh no, we sang on camera?
Yeah,
Ah,
yes.
the horror.
New Earth Now is on TV. New Earth Now on CBC. New Earth Now. New Earth Now.